Yeah, no. The doctor said you can't do the WAP dance anymore. Look, I don't care if you want to be TikTok famous. The doctor said you can't do it anymore. Yeah, no. Oh, wait, hold. Yeah, we're filming right now. We're starting to film. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Bye. Love you, Grandma. Hello, my name is Joffrey, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a strawberry shortcake chocolate bar. I just wanted to make a recipe where I could get a strawberry shortcake in a nice little small packaging, and I could hold it in my hand and just eat. The first step for this recipe is we're going to start prepping in our chocolate mold. So what I have here is my chocolate mold. It's this nice simple bar rectangle mold. Also, I have white cocoa butter. So the first step to prep our mold is we're going to start painting in clouds, because the design we're going to do, as you saw from the thumbnail, is a cloud design. Oh. Is a cloud design. And I'm just using a number 2 brush. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a chocolate mold, dab a little of the cocoa butter in. Okay, so I have my brush right here, and we're just going to paint the sides. And to make a cloud design, we're just going to tap, 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 and make this nice fluffy clouds. As you can see, it's right there. And we're just going to paint the whole entire molds. But we're doing it inside, not the outside, because now that you got your clouds painted on. So if you could see, I only painted it on the sides, mainly because on the top of the bar, we're going to put a marshmallow top. The marshmallow's going to look like a cloud itself, so it's all going to tie in together. So, done painted. We already established that. Now we're going to let this set and solidify. But once that is setting, we're also going to prep up our station, because we are going to use an airbrush, and I don't want to get my kitchen dirty. So we're just going to set it up with a plastic bag, and that's just going to help everything stay clean, nice, and protected. So, perfect! Oh. You got your chocolate mold fully solidified, and now we're going to airbrush it with blue cocoa butter. So I already have my cocoa butter inside of my spray gun, and now we're just going to And if you don't have an airbrush, I suggest just painting it with a paintbrush. See how that comes out. I feel like that's gonna give off like some really cool like brush stroke marks and make it look more like it's acrylic paint. So try that also. Make sure you want to get the edges also, because the blue sky is not just... Ah! Well, it looks like my airbrush fell, so now we're just going to paint it and see how that works. It's really funny how life turns out, where you accidentally break your equipment and then you have to do the alternative. Well, let's see how this will actually come out. Now, I haven't done it this way, and I feel like this is too much. I feel like this is a bit too much cocoa butter on it, but let's see what happens. And we are done with it. So now we're gonna set this aside and let it solidify. And I think that right now is a really good time to say, like, things happen in the kitchen. Things break, things might not go as planned, but you always have to adapt to it. Trust me, I messed up a lot, but because of all my mess ups, I've actually learned a lot on how to maneuver through stuff and be crafty and witty with everything that I do. And one thing I actually really enjoy is when something goes wrong, because that is when you can actually have fun and be like, ooh, I'm gonna challenge myself. Let's see what I can do. So when things go wrong, don't see it as a, this is the end. See it as a, okay, bring it on. Let's see what I could do. Okay, so now we're gonna remove this because we didn't even use it. So, okay, I think that one was better. Now that your blue cocoa butter is now solidified, now it's time to fill the mold with chocolate. I'm using white chocolate mainly because it's just going to transfer better, and also it's a strawberry shortcake. Why are we going to be using dark chocolate? So we're going to fill up each mold with white chocolate. Once you got your molds filled, just tap it on the sides to make sure there's no bubbles. And also coat the edges. And here's the fun part. So once this is completely coated, it looks messy right now and it's gonna get messier. We're gonna flip it over and let it rain. And it should look like this. So now what you're gonna do is grab a bench scraper or anything to level it off and scrape off the edges. Well, not to your hand. This will allow us to have a nice clean cut edge. And with this extra chocolate that you have here, you can put it in the fridge and let it solidify. And now we're gonna let this big guy solidify on its own, and we're gonna work on the next part. Okay, so now as your chocolate is setting, now what we're gonna do is make the filling. So the filling, there's two parts because it's a strawberry shortcake. There's gonna be the cake and the strawberry. And what we're gonna do right now is the strawberry. We're gonna make a simple strawberry jam, which we're just gonna use strawberries. This one's, like you tell, I already cut them in, basically did a rough dice because really you don't need a precise size for these guys. We just wanna make it small enough where then it could like be easy to manage. And also sugar. So to make the jam, it's pretty easy. The only thing you have to do is put your strawberries in a pot. And sugar. And then we're just gonna mix it all together on high heat until it reaches up to temperatures of 220 degrees Fahrenheit. So our strawberry jam has reached 120 degrees, as you can tell. It looks like that. So now we're gonna just take this off the heat, turn that off. And now we're going to just put our jam inside a bowl or a container and just let it be sitting in the fridge until it's completely chilled and then we can use it. Alright, once you have your jam resting in your fridge and letting it set, so now what we're going to do is make the cake part of it. So the ingredients we'll need are almond paste, sugar, half a vanilla bean, butter, eggs, and almond flour. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to split our vanilla bean in half. And the way how we're doing that is grabbing my mini cleaver, split it in half like that. And just scrape all the seeds out. And then we're just going to put the seeds inside our sugar. So you don't want to throw this out. Vanilla beans always have two lives. One life is using the beans, and the other one is you can put this in a pot if you're making like pastry cream to flavor it with vanilla. Or even if you have bourbon on you, just put your vanilla bean in there and you can make yourself some vanilla bean extract. And you can use that for whatever you want to. So don't waste it. It's expensive. I look like a psychopath holding this mini cleaver. Maybe I am. Once you've done that with your sugar and vanilla bean, now we're just going to put our sugar and almond paste into our mixing bowl, and now we're just going to mix it until it becomes crumbly or even combined. Okay, so you do want to get something like this. And now, once that's combined, now just put in your butter and cream it until it becomes light and fluffy. So now we're just going to scrape down and make sure that there isn't any lumps. So now we finished scraping that down. Now we're just going to add our eggs and mix that until it's combined. Alright, so once that's done, your batter should look like this right now. And now it's for the final part, which is just adding your almond flour. And mix that until it's completely combined too. So once that's done mixing, now we're going to put our batter in a lined 7x11 baking tin. And with a small offset, we're just going to smooth it out and make sure it's completely even in the pan. So now we're just going to put this in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes. Okay, so once your cake is sort of finished baking and cooling, now we're going to start assembling the insides of the chocolate bar. So I have my cake here on a cutting board, and right before we're just going to cut into the sizes that we need to fit inside the candy bars. So what we're going to do is just cut off all the edges. The measurements that we're going to need for this one is we're going to try to cut out a long rectangle that is about, well, 3 inches and 1/4 inch. So we are going to mark it. Okay. 1/4 right there. Okay, so cut that. Save this for later. Once we got this size, now we're going to cut it to 3/4 of an inch. And now you can just use this guy as a little measuring tool. Our mold only could carry 10 chocolate bars, so what you can do is just pick out your 10 favorite ones. So let's just go with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one's now a snack. Alright, so what you want to do now, you got your 10 pieces. Now you want to cut them in half. So this will actually make it look like it has a cake layer. Put it right down the middle, and we're going to do that to every single one. So now we got our cake cut and prepared. Now it's finally time to do the filling for the chocolate bar. So what you want to do is grab one of your bars and just try to stuff it in there as much as possible. Don't worry if it's not perfect. So then you're going to put some strawberry, but not a lot, because it's going to overflow, and yeah, you don't want your chocolate to overflow. And with a little offset, just move it around, spread it out. And then top it off with the other piece. Make sure you pack it in. And then just continue it for the rest. So we got all the chocolate bars filled. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put one layer of chocolate over it just to seal off everything. So usually when you're doing chocolates, bonbons, or stuff like that, you do want a full cap layer, but I accidentally overfilled it. Oopsie, my bad. But also, it's a cake. It has a nice cake base, so nothing's gonna spill. You're not gonna really get anything leaking out. The whole purpose of capping it is really just to contain the filling inside, but this one is pretty sealed. Like there's no air bubbles or anything you can tell that's coming out. So I feel like it's a decent job. It's a decent job, but not a good job. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to let this set and solidify, and then we're going to mold it. Okay, so the bottom of the chocolate is now fully solidified. Now it's time to mold it. So what you want to do is grab your mold, flip it over, and this is the fun part. And just bang it. No, didn't release. Okay, we got some few releasing. Cool, cool, cool. So technically we are done with these chocolate parts, but there is one more step, and that is my refrigerator. So the next step is we're gonna make clouds. Now it's time to do the last step, which is the little decoration part with marshmallows. So the ingredients you need for the marshmallows are water, powdered gelatin, egg white, corn syrup, sugar, and water. So the first thing we're gonna do is take our first use water and just sprinkle in our gelatin for it to bloom. Okay, so while we're letting that bloom, now this part you have to work fast and not skip a beat, because then you might ruin what you're making. Now that you have your gelatin blooming, just add in your egg whites into a mixer and mix into low speed until it becomes frothy. But in the meantime, we're going to put that in the background. Now in a small pot, just add in your corn syrup, sugar, and water, and we're going to heat it up on high heat until it reaches up to 240 degrees Fahrenheit. Once your sugar reaches up to the temperatures of 240 degrees Fahrenheit, add in your gelatin and mix it until it's completely melted. Once your gelatin is completely melted, slowly stream in your sugar mixture into your mixing bowl and whisk it on high speed until it becomes a stiff peak and it's completely cool. Once it's completely cool, put your marshmallow fluff inside a piping bag with a piping tip already inside it, and then start piping on your chocolate bars. And there you have it, your strawberry shortcake cloud candy bars. So we're finally done, and it looks so cute with the marshmallows. So let's try it. This is good. And the inside, you like, has a nice layer of jam, so it looks like a little cake. So I hope you guys found this video a bit helpful or entertaining, or even just good for white noise in the background. So see you later in the next video.